Hey, St. Albert. In case you are wondering, it is Friday, April 24th. I'm Lisa Ruffiange, and this is TV7.ca News. Today, the RCMP need your help finding a missing woman. Our city is growing. We will talk about the annexation of some land, and the Musée Héritage Museum is looking for your submissions. All of that and more, but first. St. Albert RCMP are looking to locate 67-year-old Frances Eleanor Dolores Daniels, who goes by Lenore. Lenore was last seen on Monday, April 20th at approximately 7:30 a.m. She was last seen getting on to the St. Albert Transit bus A2 on Harwood Drive. Lenore is known to frequent friends and family homes in Edmonton and St. Albert. She's also known as a night owl who enjoys staying up all night and sleeps during the day. She is described as being a 67-year-old Indigenous female with graying hair. She stands 5'1" tall with a small build. She has a very pronounced jawline, wears glasses, and was last seen wearing dark pants, a black winter coat with black fur collar, and patterned running shoes. Police are concerned for her well-being. If anyone has any information, they are asked to contact the St. Albert RCMP detachment at 780-458-7700.
And here's Stephanie Cordova with Cut the Clutter.
Everyone is wondering what to do with their time during COVID-19. This is a great time to get things done. As we keep hearing, there is a lot of pressure to use this time to accomplish something, the projects that we've been waiting to be done, but not at the expense of our mental health. And I say that out of experience. Last week was a low week for me, and it was because I had such high expectations of what this time would look like. I am a high energy person who does not like to sit still. So for me to come to these conclusions was monumental. There are people constantly demanding your attention right now. It can be very overwhelming and stressful. So instead of giving you another list of things to do, here's what I suggest if you're feeling overwhelmed. Simplify and minimize. Simplify your expectations. Simplify your lists and projects. Minimize your duties and responsibilities. Minimize your time on social media. Do your laundry, your dishes, and your meals. Do the minimum that you have to. I have accomplished more with this low set of expectations this week than before when I had a list. It's almost as if taking all the pressure off helps motivate you. Lists are good if you have great mental health. I suggested a few weeks ago to keep a list and do what you could and move the things that you couldn't do to the next week or the next day. But when you're feeling isolated, overwhelmed, and stressed on the inside as well as on the outside, or you just don't care anymore, that was me last week, do what you have to do to keep going and take on projects as they come to you with that same matched energy required to do the task. For example, out of the blue 2 days ago, I pulled my stove out, cleaned the sides and the floor underneath. It wasn't planned, I just went with it. Also, yesterday, I trimmed up one of the bushes in my backyard near my deck. Not something I had on my to-do list, but something I just thought to do one day. I did it the day after garbage day, so I filled our compost bin the day after it was emptied. Sure, it should have been done the day before. I didn't feel like it that day. So I'm not going to stress about the small stuff. I just took a shovel and made more room in my bin to last me the whole week. Problem solved. So what I'm trying to say is be flexible, be gracious with yourself. How else can you help eliminate stress during this time? To help reduce stress, put reminders in your calendar for things like bill payments, when to call your loved ones, when your children have those digital remote learning calls. Let the calendar do all the remembering and give your brain a break. Set timers when you're watching TV or reading so you can limit your time doing those things. Set timers to get outside, which is just as good for your mental health as organizing is. But you may ask, what if I'm wanting to get organized? The biggest tip I have for getting organized is creating a home for everything. Do this by sorting, collecting items from all over your house that are of like items, containing them, putting things in the appropriate size bins and baskets, and then labeling everything. Don't forget to tell your family and loved ones where the new home is. This helps us do a quick tidy every day. Feel free to follow me on social media for tips and ideas, as I'm posting only when I'm inspired to do so or when questions come in from followers. So what do you do with the things that you're purging? If you are organizing, there are still places that will take your items. Find Edmonton, for example, will come pick up your items, or you can drop them off at their 122nd Street location in Edmonton. You can find out more about what they accept on their website. That's Find Edmonton. Also, the Bissell Center is accepting clothing only. So if you'd like to give away some clothing, contact me to arrange pickup of those, as they are only accepting large quantities. So I'm arranging this meetup with the Bissell Center. Most other organizations are asking that you hold on to your items. You can still give things away for free on Facebook and Kijiji while avoiding contact. Doing porch pickups gets things out of your house and into the hands of people that can use them. Whatever you need to do during this time, take the time to care for yourself. And when you have the energy and inspiration to take on projects, do it then. Take care, and until next week.
Musée Héritage Museum wants to know, how are people adapting to the COVID-19 pandemic? Now, they're asking you to document your experiences and submit them for their archives. Last year, they ran an exhibition entitled Pandemic, A Cautionary Tale. And now that we are actually living through our own crises, they would like us to document our experiences. We talked to the museum's director, Sherry Strahan, about this project.
We're looking for all kinds of submissions. They can't be huge, but we're looking for creative submissions. We've talked with teachers who are doing English projects with students who are talking about what it's like to live during 21st century pandemic, and those can be offered in as part of the archival information. Photos of what your family is doing, written information. I have one lady that called and said, "Can I write a piece of poetry? Would you accept that?" And we said, "Of course. Absolutely. Anything creative, but just how are we surviving? How are we living? What's different in our lives?" Again, playing off of the previous exhibition, which is the history of pandemics in this region. So things like smallpox in the 1870s, the influenza that happened after the First World War across the globe, just similar to what we're experiencing now. What is it like now to be living history in a way, an extension of that exhibition that we had last year?
Submissions can be made through their website. They're also currently showing the 2019 exhibition Pandemic, A Cautionary Tale online.
They go to our website, museheritage.ca, and there's a banner there, one of the banner pages. You just click on that, and it takes you straight to the exhibition that was in our space. So the panel with the information there, the history of pandemics, the ones that have come our way over the last 200, 300 years, how they affected people in our community and in this whole region, is all there. And there is a little button as well that says, hey, if you want to submit something, just follow this, just press the button and put your information there.
Now you can go to the Musée Héritage Museum website to check out this exhibition or to make your own submission.
Well, spring is finally here, and it's nice to get out of the house, even for just socially isolated walks. And with spring, of course, comes as well garage sale season. The city is, however, recommending residents not hold or attend spring garage sales and consider alternatives to exchange goods. Now, if you are planning on having a garage sale, you are required to obey the public health orders of limiting gatherings to less than 15 people and maintaining the 2 meters distancing requirements. You're also encouraged not to accept cash, instead using e-transfers. Also, make sure you have plenty of hand sanitizer available. Now, as an alternative to a garage sale, consider online exchanges. Try to make the point of sale contactless by using e-transfer and porch pickup. If you do have to, in fact, meet in person, please meet in a safe place and follow social distancing guidelines of 2 meters.
Well, Karen Armstrong is here once again to help us understand how to cope with the stress of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you very much. Today, I would like to talk to the viewers about emotion, because right now, all of us, including myself, are feeling emotions that we're not used to feeling. And feeling something you don't want to is really the only problem you ever have in life. So whether it's anger, fear, stress, they're actually all good for us. But why they're flaring up now is because in general, what we do is we distract ourselves. So whether it's working out or working extra hours or going out with friends, playing sports, there are healthy distractors and unhealthy. And so whether it's addictions, those are the unhealthy, or activities, those are the healthy ones. Either way, they're doing the same thing. They're distracting you from what you're feeling. So right now, as you're feeling these things, it is a perfect time to learn how to permanently overcome them. Emotions are like medicine. They taste bad, but they're good for us. So they don't feel good, but they're just a call to action. They're just a way of helping us become aware of things in our lives that aren't working so that we can change it. Because if you don't, the only way your life will change is if you make changes in your life. And the only way you can make appropriate changes is having that awareness. So right now, as you sit there at home and maybe your partner's frustrating you, or the kids being home with school, or you have fear of the future, sit with those emotions and do something about it. You have two options, like being at a fork in the road. You can't go forward because there's a big pit there. You don't want to fall into the pit. You want to change. So one path will take you to temporary relief. The other path can take you to permanent change. So your old distractors, they used to take you away from the feeling momentarily. They were just taking you to temporary relief. You're always going to be walking that path. It never ends. If you want to get to permanent change town, you got to do that by identifying and addressing the root cause. There is no other way. So when it comes to emotions, the only root cause is your thoughts. Learning how your mind and emotions work is critical. From there, you need help to identify what triggers specifically in your life are creating these thoughts. Because 90 to 95% of what you think is at a subconscious level. You're not even aware of it. So, and then once you know your triggers, you need those tools and strategies to apply to that root cause. When you do that, it goes away. The emotion you're feeling goes away. So put simple, your emotions are good. They're a call to action, but you need to address the root cause if you want them to go away. For TV7.ca News, I'm Karen Armstrong.
While the city continues to focus efforts on various COVID-19 response initiatives, it is also imperative to actively plan for recovery. On Monday, City Council approved the development of a recovery task force as part of the COVID-19 recovery concept plan. Now, this task force is seen as an important first step in the development of comprehensive recovery efforts. The task force will consist of not only members of council, but also 7 members of the public who form a cross-section of the community with relevant governance, business, nonprofit, and volunteer experience. Now, at this point, timelines are fluid. However, the primary goal of this committee is to help build a report with potential recommendations that will assist residents, community partners, and businesses recover from the impacts of COVID-19 over an 18 to 24-month period. Now, it is nice to hear that we are starting to talk about recovery. Deadline to apply to volunteer for the Recovery Task Force is May the 8th. This application form and more details can be found on the City of St. Albert's website.
Before COVID-19, Memory Roth talked to Canadian artist Bruce Thompson on this week's Art in the City.
I'm here with Bruce Thompson at his studio called Alberta Spaces. Hi Bruce, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to be on TV7.ca. It's great to see you.
Yeah, thank you for doing this interview.
Oh, it's always fun.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is your connection to St. Albert?
Well, we came here, I and my family came here in 1981, and we looked around the whole Edmonton metropolitan area, and we liked St. Albert because it was partly because of the trees, and it was partly the grain elevators. I thought any city that retained its grain elevators had a passion about its history and its heritage. And the fact that you could hear French spoken on Perrin Street meant something to me.
Really?
So, yeah, everything, I was like wowed by that. I wasn't expecting this at all.
Oh, that's really cool.
And yeah.
You haven't always been an artist. You had a different career for a while before you decided to do this as a profession. So what was it that you used to do?
I used to be, and still am to some extent, an environmental scientist. So I started my schooling in biology, doing chemistry, physics, etc. And when I finished university, my first job was to go to West Africa with CUSO. And I spent 5 years there working on the river blindness program, which was great fun. And then when we came back from Africa, I did a quickie MSc, and then we lived out in Newfoundland for a while. And then in 1981, a job came up with Environment Canada in Edmonton, so we moved out here. And I worked there for about 15 or so years. So I'd always worked with scientists and engineers, and my training was pretty left-brained. And at one point, I wanted to see the world in a different way from the purely technical.
Right.
And so one day, sitting on the bus, I said, hey, I would like to see this in a different way, and I love the outdoors. Put them two together, plus they can't stop you. And so the first thing I did was go and take a watercolor lesson from Peg McPherson in St. Albert in the city offered courses. And, you know, literally to find out which end of a brush you put in the water. And so I painted from that time on. I had joined the St. Albert Painters Guild and grew a lot there, I think. So for a number of years I painted in watercolors. But at one point I wanted to portray bigger pictures and more color. And therefore, in about, give or take, around 2000, I took up painting with acrylics and oils. So my very first oils looked like a watercolorist trying to paint in oils. They're very blurry and that kind of stuff, and not that much color. So finally, I took the solvents and threw them all away, and just painted with the pure product. And from that time, the paintings, I was doing paintings that were, you know, this big instead of the size of postcards, and they had more and more color. That was the challenge. So about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, having grown in the sense of doing bigger pictures and steadily more impressionistic, I would say, I discovered that there was something could be done in the digital form with them.
Okay.
So I learned a bit about digitalization, and found I was very excited by the results. I photographed pictures of my own oil paintings, and then used 3 or 4 what I call digital brushes to, I don't want to say distort, but to massage them. And I was quite excited by the images that came out. It's just, wow, all this color. So I worked on that, I've worked on that for about 3 or 4 years now, with the challenge of working together with the brushes in combination, and bringing out more color is the huge challenge. You can cast them on canvas, or paper or metal, whatever you want. I met a very, very good color consultant, I'll say, digital consultant in Edmonton, after searching for someone who knew how to print these on surfaces. And so I've worked with him, and we've experimented with different surfaces, always trying to get more color and more acuity as you go up to big pictures.
So how big are you talking about?
Well, the biggest that we've done so far is about 36 inches by 48. So yeah, by
that's
year.
Great.
The capacity, using the surfaces, the special surfaces that we're using now to coat the material, we can go to 5 feet in one direction and almost infinity in the other direction because it's a roll.
Wow.
So we're working bigger and bigger and more color, and even on the largest ones, we can get lines that are the width of a technical engineer's pencil.
Wow.
So I'm finding it very exciting, and also it's fun.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce. This has been really wonderful to learn about your art and your new found passion with the new technique, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of your new work.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing the interview.
It's been great. I'm Memory Roth, and this is Art in the City with TV7.ca.
And our good friend Dennis Faulkner is back to talk to us about some changes that COVID-19 has made to the real estate industry.
Hi, my name is Dennis Faulkner. I'm a realtor with Remax Select. I live in Lacombe Park, St. Albert, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how we're doing real estate in St. Albert today. It definitely isn't business as usual. Things have changed a lot. We're asking buyers to change their behavior in that we're asking them to do a lot of their research and homework at home on their devices. We're asking them to pick maybe just one home or at the most a handful of homes to see so that we reduce the amount of homes that we're going in and reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19. We're changing the way that we list homes as well. Many of us are just taking way more pictures. Many of us are taking video, possibly even walkthrough tours. We're trying to provide as much information on the property as possible so that prospective buyers can do all of their research at home. We're asking sellers to change their behavior. So for instance, if they had a list or a showing that day, we would ask them to turn on all the lights, every light, to leave all the interior doors to all the rooms completely open so that there's no need to touch anything, to leave pantry doors open, to leave closet doors open, possibly even features in their kitchen, leave a drawer open or a cabinet drawer open just so that people can see the inside of the cabinetry, again reducing the need to touch anything. If everything goes perfect, and while we're physical distancing, the realtor would open the door for the client. They would only touch the door handle, and then on the way out, on the way in, and on the way out, we're using disinfectant wipes to ensure that there is, no trace of our being there. We're asking lots of questions of both buyers and sellers related to their travel history, related to any symptoms that they may have, their association with anyone that is symptomatic or tested positive, whether they've tested positive or whether they've awaited tests. So lots of questions that they not only have to, verbally, well, they actually have to sign and check off, answer the questions on paper so that we do have a record. And that they are responsible for their answers to that question. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to flatten the curve and to make it worth it, that us isolating, which is not an easy thing to do, especially a month in. Many of us are going a little stir crazy, not being able to have contact with our family, our friends, to do the things that we normally do. So let's make sure that we're not compromising all those efforts for those that do have to move, that do need to sell or do need to buy, as it is deemed an essential service by the Alberta government. If you have any questions about how we're doing business in St. Albert, how realtors are listing homes, whether you should list your home, whether you should wait, don't hesitate to, either contact your realtor or, of course, you can contact me. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. I'll leave my email address in the corner here just so that you can contact me with your questions. Thank you for watching, and I hope you are able to stay home, stay safe, and take care of one another.
And now for some non-COVID-19 news. The City of St. Albert and Sturgeon County's Annexation Negotiating Subcommittee announced that the negotiations for an annexation boundary line recommendation have been completed. The boundary line is similar to the annexation area presented to the public in 2019, but has been adjusted within the Northwest section based upon intermunicipal negotiation. Lands that were previously removed from annexation consideration in the Southwest and Northeast sections of the area remain excluded. Final completion of the annexation boundary will be subject to provincial approval, which is anticipated to occur once the annexation subcommittee finalizes negotiations related to several other matters. This includes financial compensation to Sturgeon County and taxation. Once the negotiations are complete, the City of St. Albert will submit its annexation application to the Government of Alberta for approval and consideration. Chair of the Annexation Negotiating Subcommittee and St. Albert Councillor Ray Watkins is quoted as saying, "Today represents a milestone in our annexation negotiations and is a testament to the negotiating committee and our willingness to arrive at mutually beneficial outcomes." So it looks like our city just got a little bit bigger. For more information, you can go check out St. Albert's website.
And as always, thank you to Michelle Parker for helping us stave off the excess pounds with Let's Get Fit.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Let's Get Fit. My name is Michelle, and I'm coming to you from FX3 Fitness here in beautiful St. Albert. Now, over the last few days, I've noticed more and more people initiating their yard work and garden cleanups. I've also started to hear their moans and groans from the people as their bodies start screaming at them for their efforts. So my advice to you, remember to take it slow. Remember to work in segments and give your body periods of rest. The weeding in your garden and the raking of your lawns does not need to be accomplished in one day, not even in one weekend. To help prepare your body for your spring and your summer time gardening routines, I put together a short workout routine for you. Now, before you start on any workout routine, be sure to warm up. This could be going for a light walk. It could be climbing up and down your stairs in your home. It could be doing some old-fashioned jump roping or air jump rope if you don't have one. Whichever light activity you choose, aim to warm up for about 3 or more minutes, followed by these next moves. Now I'm going to give you 3 different exercises, and you're going to focus on doing 10 reps each and then aiming for from 2 to 5 rounds as you get started with this, working those rounds up as time goes on. So we're going to start by going with the diagonal wood chop. So I'm going to show you what these look like. I'm not going to go through 10 reps each, but you're going to start with your feet nice and wide, wider than your shoulder widths, and this is a diagonal wood chop. So it's going to mimic the rotating movement that you've got when you're doing your weeding. So it's going to help build up strength and stability with you as well too. So you're going to pretend you've got that axe in your hand, and you are going to come down into your lunge. And notice how I pivot on my feet before I bring that axe back up. And then bring it back down again. So you're going to be doing 10 on one side, then you're going to simply switch and bring 10 on the other, coming down. Now notice in my lunge, I'm going nice and deep, but you might be coming right about here. Whatever that is right for you to get things started, slowly getting a little deeper as you progress in this workout routine. The next exercise I'm going to suggest to you is a basic push-up. It can be done from a wall. It can be done from your knees, it can be done from your toes, off of the bench. So just coming down, I'm going to demonstrate it for you off my knees today. Nice wide arms, lowering your chest to the floor and bring it back up. So this one's going to work your entire upper body, including chest, arms, and core. It's going to be great training for your upcoming lawn mowing season. And to wrap things up, we're going to work on our lunge. So we can do lots of different lunges. It can be forward, it can be back, it can be lateral. I'm going to focus on a reverse lunge, coming back. It's going to work your butt and your thighs. It's great for balance and stability. All right. And then when we take this out to our gardening, we're going to think about how we're getting down to pick up those weeds. Notice how my shoulders are back, staying up nice and tall, rather than hunching over when I come down. I want you to think of the same thing when you're in your garden. Stay nice and tall, protecting your lower back. All right. So like I said, we're going to aim for those 3 exercises for your legs, your lunges, 10 each side for 2 to 5 rounds. All right, that's going to help getting you ready for your lawn and gardening season. And then make sure you follow that with a bit of a cool down. So let's take some time to stretch it out for another 3 to 5 minutes. All right, everyone, my name is Michelle from TV7.ca. Have a wonderful day. Until next time. Cheers.
Well, that's a wrap for this week. Now, if you have any community events or news that you'd like to share with our viewers, please send us an email at news@tv7.ca. From all of us here at the station, I'm Lisa Ruffiange. Please stay safe, be kind, have a great week, and wash your hands.